to record?
Yeah, it's already in progress. All right, guys. So I think that what I want to do tonight is just give you some pointers, some on a couple of topics, and then Manny had asked me a question, and Mark had asked me a question, and that question was, how do you handle, people that flake out? How do you deal with that? What's the recourse? How do you follow up with them? And then maybe do like a little practice invitation. Um, and how do you say something to a person that you don't know or you do know and you want to invite them? So I think a lot of those things really have to do with training and understanding the process, because most people typically don't do well at anything because they don't know what they're doing, or they're afraid to make a mistake. uh, if you know what you're doing, it's rarely you're going to make a mistake because you know what you're doing. So the training is so important in anything that we're doing, that you're confident enough that you're not going to make a mistake. Now, how do you get to the confidence level of learning, of knowing you're not going to make a mistake? And the answer is you keep practicing and you keep training. So if you take any professional sport, if you take, you know, anything that anything that's bigger than just the basketball game outside on the court, then you'll know that people get out there, and even there, they go out and they practice every single day. So why would professionals need to practice? And this is something I think that's kind of um, falls on deaf ears in our industry, is that people aren't practicing enough. In other words, they're not practicing even at the level of SVP or SVP Platinum. And they because to a certain degree, it becomes part number one, it becomes part of who you are. Number two, it you know, it kind of you become the person, right? It's who you're becoming. So you become the person who's always recruiting, you become the person who's always networking, you become the person who's always looking for new people to bless with your opportunity. You're always looking and you're always in that mode. But practicing the invitation and practicing helping people get started, practicing helping people become customers, practicing, getting people started, launching people, like all of these things, you have to constantly practice. And that I think is something so important, and we don't do it. We don't do it enough. We don't get to do it enough. We're not around people that are doing it enough. And I think what we should do, as a team, as a group, is really put together something where every single person on this call never has a confidence question or a confidence problem. And I think once we get to that point, you're going to see so much success and so many things happen in your life and in your business. You're not going to believe yourself. Like, yeah, we know how to pique interest, right? We can ask somebody if they're open. We can we can present the opportunity. Probably every single person here can do it with their eyes closed, because we've done it so many times. But really, like, truly knowing everything, is you just got to keep doing it over and over and getting better. So I really take a lot of the presentations that I do, I always take them as a learning experience, because I want to get better the next time. I want to listen to what I said and maybe replace it with something that could be better. I want to be able to relate to more people. I want to be able to help more people understand how this works. I want to be able to scare less people away with the concept of network marketing, because so many people are scared. They're like, oh, network marketing, MLM, that's a pyramid, right? So I think that over the last 10 years, some of that has calmed down a little bit, in my opinion, maybe not. But I think a lot less people are looking at network marketing as like a pyramid scheme. They're looking at it as something they may not necessarily want to do, but I've got a lot less of that, but much more of, of like Manny said, that one second they're interested and the next second they're not. And I think because of the fact that they're worried that they won't know how to do this, and they're worried that they're not going to have enough time to learn how to do this, and they're worried about a lot of people saying no, and they're worried about getting rejected, and they're worried about not having enough prospects, and they're worried about not having enough customers, and all of these things start to pile up on their worry list, and they're just consume themselves, and they're consumed by these hurdles. Instead of embracing the hurdles, instead of embracing the fact that, hey, this could give me the opportunity to grow. This is going to give me the opportunity to become better. This is going to give me an opportunity to get better at some of the things that I've never done before. This is going to give me an opportunity to bless other people and create something I've never had before. So all of these things are going to, give me the, a chance to battle and battle my problem and convert on the challenge. And this is where so many of us fail to set the right expectations for a person that's looking at this information. They saw the presentation, they liked it. Your next goal, your next step is to give them some expectations and get into their warm market more than anything, right? Because it's always easiest to work in warm market than it is with cold market, because there's trust in warm market. Now, there's two types of warm market. There's your warm market and there's your prospects warm market. And the only way that we can ever get that prospect to stick around is to get in their warm market and find someone who's interested in doing the business. And guys, I mean, I've taken this from so many leaders. There's so many trainings on this, but they're like, you're not looking for the person to sign up. That's not the goal. The goal is to get into that person's warm market, because that way you can show this person that just by having 3 or 4 people or 2 or 3 people that trust that individual, you can grow a team. And what we keep doing is we keep trying to find one person who's going to blow it all up for us. You know who that person is? That person is you. You're the one who's going to blow it up. It's not going to be one guy coming into your business and do all this stuff for you that you've always wanted. That's got to be you. And you got to set that standard. You got to set the precedent. You got to set the stage. You got to set, the leadership. You got to set, the foundation of how all of this works. And who's that going to be? That's, well, how does it work? Well, how do I do this? How do I do that? You got to taproot. You got to get into the person's warm market. You invited somebody, they're looking at the information. You have a quick conversation with them after the presentation. It works so much better when you're in person because they can't leave. They can't not answer the phone. They can't hang up on the Zoom call. They can't leave the breakout room. You're in there and you're in person. I honestly think that right now people are beginning to be a lot more open in terms of meeting. I would do a meeting in a coffee shop. I would do a meeting at Dunkin' Donuts. I would do a meeting at Starbucks. But because I have that person and I can hug that person, I can look that person in the eye, I can tell them what I'm doing, I can share with them the information, I can share with them the opportunity, and then I can ask them the closing questions. And the closing questions is, are you ready to get started? Right? And if you're too scared to ask that, here's even a better one. On a scale of 1 through 10, or 0 through 10, where 0 is you're not interested at all. And 10 and 10 is you want to get started right now and you can't wait. What is your number? And if they say anything that's not a 0, that means they're interested. That means they're interested. Because if they're not interested, they would say 0. So if they say I'm a 2, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'll take a 2. How can I get you to a 10? And that's the question you ask. How can I get you to a 10? What would it take for you to move to the number 10? What would it take you what would it take for you to get started with us? And this is how you start to give the person real expectations, because now they're going to ask you questions. I'm going to say, well, here are some of my objections. It's hard for me to find time. We know there's only 24 hours, right, in a day. It's not going to get harder than that. You got to ask them, what are you doing that's maybe taking away from some of the time that you need to put into this business? Ask open-ended questions. What is it that you're doing that you think is taking up a lot of your time? How can we etch out 30 minutes per day that you and I can work together and make this happen for you? And then you start to set those real expectations. Then once you have that set, okay, what's the next step? So you're now at a 3 or a 4. Great. What are the next things that need to happen? What are the other things that you're worried about? Well, I've never done this before, or I've done this before and failed miserably or lost a lot of money. Right? That's happened before. When people have gotten involved with companies that are brand new, crypto companies, you name it, investment banking, whatever. Like all these things that have happened and they lost money. Okay. So your question at that point has to become, well, do you believe that this is the same type of an opportunity? And if they say yes, you ask them to explain to me what happened with the original with the business where you lost money. And say, well, how much money did you lose? They'll say, well, I typically, and they're going to give you typically a large number. They're not going to say $200. They're not going to say $300, because that's not really losing money. When you're getting involved with some of those types of businesses that really take your money, they really steal from you, they'll have you put out 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. The more you put in, the more money you'll make, right? Like we all heard that before. So tell them about how this works. Here's the first 30-day business plan. You can make $5 to $7 to $1,000 in your first 30 days. I can show you how to do this. And if we do it, you give me the 2 weeks, you give me enough time so I can work with you so we can do this together. I want to put a check in your hand so at least you'll have your money back. Allow that individual to truly believe and hear you on that, because that's what's important. We're only looking for people to move with us. We're looking for people who are interested. We're looking for people who are excited. We're looking for people who are not in a place where, they are scared to put in every penny. Oh, the last penny. We don't want to do that. Okay. Well, who do you know then? And this is what I would ask. Look, you have this. I know for a fact that there's 2 or 3 people in your life that trust you implicitly. And what I mean by that is that if your car broke down and they would get out there and do anything, no matter where you are, right? You have a few people like that, and they would say yes. So, what are the chances of me and a few of those people and you together to look at this information and see if this is something that they might be interested in? Okay. So, immediately, what you're doing there is you're showing the person who's in front of you that you're willing to go above and beyond and help them grow a team to prove to them that this works. And this is really how Mike and Tony started to expand business into different states. Like this is the model that they did. They would just say, who do you know? Because for them, it was all about getting people to look at the information. It wasn't about signing IBOs. It wasn't about signing up IBOs and getting them qualified. It wasn't about any of those things. It was about getting people to look at the information, because they knew from doing this for a long time that the more people see it, the higher are the chances that some of them are going to get started. And because some of them are going to get started, the people who invited them will get started as well, because now there's a fear of loss. And this is why I think it's so crucial for us to have these sessions, to get trained, to practice so we know exactly what to say. Because if we know exactly what to say, we'll never ever blame ourselves for failing to say the right thing. See, this is one of the reasons why people quit this business, because they don't have production, because they're not generating revenue, because $300 is too little to worry about. They just quit because it's so cheap. I was with Steve in Florida, and we were talking to this guy Hugo, who owns a franchise of this fitness franchise. I think it's called Iron Body Fit or something. And we were having a conversation with him, and he's like, my friends invested some money in in these types of businesses, and they lost some money, so I'm a little skeptical. And they said, okay, we got that. So we took him through this. We helped him understand that this is a real business. It's been around for a long time. And then we asked him how much he invested, in his business. And I believe the number was something like $35,000. I said, would you quit in 30 or 40 or 60 days if you weren't getting customers? Would you just throw your money out the window? He said, no, I would continue to do it until I made my money back. I said, this is why people quit businesses like this, because they're so cheap to get in. But the reason why they're super, so everyone has the opportunity, because not many people have $35,000 to invest in a business. Do you agree with that? So we knew that that was the reason, and we still know that that's the reason. Byron Nelson from day one said the reason why people quit ACN because it's only $4.99. That's why they quit, because there's no investment. So when you create more value in the opportunity than it costs, so it's definitely something that there's something is worth. So it's not what something costs, it's what something is worth. So you have to be the person. When I'm saying you have to be the person, I mean when we're talking, when we're having these conversations, when we're doing this leadership, like we have to figure out how we can be so confident in the things that we say, so people never question us because of our posture, because of our attitude, because of how serious we are about what we're doing. Right? This is how you get to go and approach people that are at the highest levels of their own business. Everyone says recruit up. Why do you think they keep saying this? Because business people understand. Like you look at the team, you look at Mazers, you look at Megan Williams, you look at James Adams, you look at all of these teams, and the message throughout is recruit up, recruit up, recruit up. Start going after business owners, start going after successful people, start going after people that are already that have already made it in one way or in one industry or another. Go and do that. And I'm telling you that when you start to do this, when you start to realize that this is where this is where it's all at, you're going to start to see the results that other teams are seeing, because you're going to talk to a person who is, number one, going to give you the time, who's going to pay attention, because business owners pay attention, they listen, they know how to listen. Okay, number three, they're going to give you an answer and make a decision. It's so simple for them to do that. They do it every single day, hundreds of times a day. They make decisions about their business. Good decisions, bad decisions. They always make decisions. They're quick making decisions. This is very important. So what I'm trying to say is this, you guys. As we're doing these leadership trainings, as we're learning from one another, as we're mentoring each other, as we're doing all these things, we need to be able to be accountable to each other, to do this training, to do practice. Because I truly believe that if you practice something long enough, you're going to be super great at it. And you start doing this with your brand new people. Imagine how powerful they'll feel. Imagine how empowered. they're going to feel, because they're going to know what to say. They're going to know what to expect in answers, because you can play, you can role play with them. Like I can't wait to start doing that with Isabel again, and with Mark and with Steven, so we can hone this down. So when we're having conversations, we're sharp. We know exactly what we're saying. We know exactly how to invite. We know exactly how to present. We know exactly how to launch someone. We know how to sign someone up for, as a customer. Like the crucial pieces of all of this is to help people do exactly what we're doing and duplicate. Right? That's the name of the business. Duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. So when you're giving people enough information and they feel confident about the information and they feel confident about themselves, then they become competent in creating this, this duplication process. Because the person that's going to show up in their business, guess what? They're excited because they know the answer to every question. And they don't have to know it right away. But I mean, this is what we want to do. We want to be pros. We want to be professionals. Right? Yeah, look, that's a great question. We'll cover that on the training. That's really good. It's a great way to say that, right? Just to get that person to the training. But at the training, we can train, we can practice, we can do some things together. And I think that more people will stay, more people will follow your lead, more people will be responsible, more people will be accountable if we have these trainings, if we do these trainings together with you guys. Like, how amazing would it be to role play? So a brand new person is sitting there, right? And I'm role playing with, with Manny, let's say. I'm inviting him. And then he gives me a little bit of a pushback, right? And then I answer the question that's on everyone's mind because they want to know what the answer is. Well, how would you handle that? Well, I don't know, right? But if we practice and if we do that, and if people are looking at us and they're learning from us, they can have so much more confidence. Oh, that's a great way to do that. I'll write that down. Oh, that's a great answer. I'll write that down. That's a great way to approach someone. I'll write that down. So eventually we can get that person up and do the Q&A and do the practice, the back and forth. And I think that's going to be so great for us because it really build the confidence that we need. I think there's so many people out there that need this. There's so many people out there that are looking for this. And you guys, I encourage you to, to to start thinking in a way where, where you have, you know, where you can really create something amazing for someone else. Right. And we really want to, like, there's so much talk in the sales industries about, it's not about the service or the product. It's not about this, the product was right. It's not about the service of the product, right? It's about what you bring to the table as the person who is introducing you to the opportunity, sharing something about a service, right? Introducing you to the team. Like, this is where all the value is. And we put so much emphasis on the fact that this service is so amazing. Guys, like, as much as I love the services that ACN has, they're just services. They're services. Impact is going to blow this industry into pieces. And I think that that's going to be one of the foundations for ACM for the next 15 years, if not more. And we're going to make Impact a household name. And I guarantee you that. We got to jump on it now. And I think that I had a conversation with Renato. And this is not something we can sleep on. This is something that we got to get out there. And yeah, we got to get out of our comfort zone. And I'm going to do that. And I understand that but that's how you grow. How you grow, you stretch, right? You got to stretch, you got to hurt, you got to feel like when you go to the gym and you're working out, if you're not hurting, you're not growing, you guys. And that's physical pain. We're so worried about the mental pain. We just shut, we close, we shut out, we get shut down. And it happens to me, it happens to everybody. But the more you do it and the more we can practice, the more we can role play, the easier it's going to become. because at that point you're gonna feel like you're invincible. No one can say anything to you that'll throw you off track. And there's so many people that get thrown off track. Oh, somebody said something. Oh, it's like, you got to get in the ring. You got to get excited about what you have. So what? It doesn't matter what anyone says. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks. I know there are people that have achieved financial freedom in ACN. I know they exist. I know they're not special. Well, some of them are. But I know there's nothing extraordinary about those people because they followed a system, they understood the process, and just kept practicing and practicing, and Raskin always talks about this play and rewind, right? That's just keep listening, keep listening, keep listening, keep listening, and keep working, keep practicing, keep working, keep practicing. So this practice stuff that we never do is we get out there and we're like, we say hi to somebody and they're like, this habit, right? It's a great attitude. Smile. That's the first thing you should be doing. Smile every look at Renata. She smiles everywhere she goes. Like she's smiling now. People love smiles because they don't get enough at home, because they don't get enough at work, because they don't get enough on the bus or on the train. Right. So everyone's like, oh my God, someone smiles. That's fantastic. Right. Whether or not you see that in their facial expression, and you may not, you probably won't, because they're so afraid to smile, because that means vulnerability, right? And that's a program in their mind that keeps playing over and over and over and over again. And it stops them dead in their tracks because they believe that all their life they've lived in deceit, and someone's going to take advantage of them, and someone's going to hurt them, and they're so scared, and they're so skeptical, and they're so cynical. Not everyone's like that. Maybe some, there's some people, but not everyone's like that. Everyone wants some blessing in their life. Everybody wants somebody to smile. They want to smile, but they're not doing it. Not doing it because it's not culturally okay. Like if you're smiling, like that means there's something wrong with you, or you just won the lotto. Like those are the only two reasons why anyone can ever smile, right? You won't even smile on their birthdays anymore, for crying out loud. Come on, you guys. This is a beautiful thing we got here, right? Wake up every morning. Hopefully not much, not too many parts of you are hurting. That's a good sign. You know, Nothing's hurting. Fantastic. You guys are in better shape than I am. But it doesn't mean that you can't bless someone with that smile. Like smile goes so far, or such a long way. So the reason why I'm mentioning smiling is because that's one of the most important attributes of a successful person. I don't mean success wealth. I mean success in life. I know a lot of wealthy people that are super grudgy. They'll never smile. Or it's just always like, oh, it's just all about work, work. Okay, whatever. Fine, you know. But they just forgot about this whole essence of being a human being, right? Why is it called human being and not human doing? Ever wonder about that? Because it's always about who you're being. So, remember, always try to be a better person. It's right, it's about who you're becoming. It's the being that's important. So when you're smiling, when you're having a conversation, you have a lot more people that'll respond in a positive way because you're exuding, positivity. And that's going to give a lot of people a different way. Like it's interesting because Steve, I know you're on the call. I don't know if you remember this, but when we were having a conversation with Hugo, uh, did you happen to notice how difficult it was for him to look me or you in the eye when we were having the conversation? Like, I'm looking a person straight in the eye because I'm confident in what I'm doing, right? That's just me. Like, I look them straight in the eye. I don't start looking in different ways because I'm engaged and I want to make sure that he knows that I'm present. And that's what I'm trying to convey to that individual. I'm not here to hurt him. That's why I'm not trying to kind of like evade. But it seemed to me like when a person is not really comfortable, they'll start looking in different ways. Steve, did you notice that? Can you unmute and answer?
Yeah, it was something into him. But
Right?
I would
Was
say he was like in the beginning, he was very confused what's going on.
uh-huh.
Later on, he got more comfortable.
Right. So yeah, he got a little more comfortable. It was a little more eye contact, but it was like for maybe 15 or 20 minutes initially, it was so difficult to catch his eyes. It was difficult to catch him looking because one, he wasn't sure what was happening. Two, he was, it was new people around, right? But he's also a new person to me. You know what I'm saying? So, but the fact that I know where I'm coming from and the fact that I know where I'm going is the reason why I can, look straight somebody in the eye and then at that moment let them know that I'm here because I have nothing to hold back. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not tricking anyone. This is why it's so important for us to do that. So the smiling and this body, this body language is going to give you so much more, power in terms of your conversation. And it's going to allow people to know that you're serious. It's going to allow people to know that you're confident. It's going to allow people to know that you have posture in what you're doing, in what you're sharing, right? It's not just about selling. Selling is going to come later because everything we do is sell. It's just the way it works. You go out on a date, you have a conversation with somebody, you hope they like you. You're selling yourself all over. Look at what I can do. Here's what I've accomplished. Here's the businesses that I've opened. I'm this and I'm that, and that person knows me, and I know that person, and I went to this concert and I went backstage. What do you think that is? Right? It's a sale. I mean, you can jump up and down and all around it, but that's just what it is. Totally cool, guys. Fine, we do it all the time. My wife sold me on going to Orlando, and we went, and that's fine. I get that. It's totally cool. So I really don't want you to be afraid of that because most people look at anything we're doing. For most people, sales is a taboo. It's like, oh, like try to sell me something. Like, what? Who says that? Are you trying to sell me something? Well, are you planning to buy? Like, what are you buying? Whatever you're buying, I'll sell. If you're most people that say that are typically the people that buy everything. That's the funniest thing. The people that are scared of salespeople are the ones that buy. And the funny thing is, they hate the process of being sold, but they love the product or the service so much they forget about it. Guys, I've seen that happen over and over and over again. Like, oh, it's too expensive. Okay, what can I tell you? It's expensive. You want the best? You're gonna go and do it 3 or 4 times, buy something cheap, have a break, come back and buy some more. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is I want you to get confident in what you're doing. This is not about sales, but it's about the confidence of someone who understands the process. And in understanding the process of helping somebody get started, helping somebody look at the information, helping somebody, make a decision, right? These are the things that you're going to have to do. And in so many words, you can call that closing. You can call that a sales close. Okay. But all we're doing in anything, whether you're selling, whether you're offering, whether you're sharing, whatever it is you're doing, you have to have enough understanding and knowledge of the services and the opportunity and the product and what it is and the dream, right? And the financial freedom and the opportunity and the team. Guys, do you understand that every single night that we do a presentation, our goal is to touch somebody's heart in a way where it doesn't look like a sale? That's our goal. We're not looking to sell. But what, no matter how you look at it, because we believe so much in what we're doing, and because we believe so much in ACN, and because we know what the possibility is here for anyone, it can sometimes be misconstrued as a sale. And that's totally okay. Because in reality, we're selling the future. We're selling a dream for someone that they've never thought was accomplishable, if that's even a word. We're selling someone the fact that there's more to their life than they believe there is. We're selling that. That's what we do. I believe that we sell dreams with this opportunity. And I talk to people that are business owners. I had a conversation yesterday with a buddy of mine. He does big acquisitions and he does build outs, and he's a developer. And he's like, because I don't get ACN. And I said, I get it. I understand. I've known he's known me, forever. Even I've known this guy for 25 years probably. And he's like, so what is it? I don't understand. Can you what how can you make money with services? And he's like, why don't you go and sell somebody a building, make $50,000. I'm like, I can do that. I can sell a building and make 50 grand. I have no problem with that. Right? If you teach me how to do it, I can do it. But how many people's lives have I changed when I did that? But who is going to become a better person, or share this with someone who's going to become a better person? Who's going to become a better person? Who's going to share with someone who's going to become a better person? Like, how is that going to affect me? Right? And the reason why, you know, ACN's been in my life for such a long time and it never left, because that's what I truly believe ACN is. It's we are the people who can help other people achieve their dreams only if they want to, because not everyone wants to. Not everyone's ready to sacrifice. Not everyone's ready to do the work. Not everyone's ready to make the calls. Not everyone's ready to make the invitations. Not everyone's ready to get out of their comfort zone. Not everyone's ready to go to the training. Not everyone's ready to role play and get better in their craft. Not everybody's ready to learn the compensation plan and go to the events that are not, 3 blocks down or a different bar. You gotta get on the plane and fly. Like, this is what's important. And let me tell you something, you're gonna find those people. And you'll find them. There's so many of them. And everyone's like, well, I don't know where to look. Just connect with people. When you connect with people, everything changes. Because when you're connecting with people, it means you're understanding them, you're having conversations with them, you're keeping in contact with them. It's not just about peaking. It's not just about asking someone if they're interested in making more money. It's not just about those things. It's about being able to create a relationship and cultivate their relationships. And look, I'm guilty of so many different things, but no one's perfect, right? Life gets in the way. We get busy doing other things, and we sometimes drop the ball here, and sometimes we drop the ball there, and sometimes we drop the ball there. But we're hoping to go and pick that stuff up, so we can go back and go back to where we felt the best, where we felt the greatest, where we felt mostly fulfilled. That is creating amazing things in different people's lives. Right? It sounds so silly. It sounds like puffy and wishy-washy. But I'm telling you, that's what it is. And most people, when you first talk to them about this business, the only thing that we're like, how do I get a service and why do I have to sign up? Like, what if the service isn't that great? Right? And because their vision is like, this is how far their vision is away, like this. This is all they see. They can't see past their nose, like they can't see here. Right? And this is what we have to do at every presentation, at every event, at every training, is to cast the vision and say, hey guys, you're looking at this too small. You're playing too small. You're not looking at the bigger picture. And our goal is to paint the bigger picture with as many vivid colors as possible and make it as clear as possible for them. Help them understand why it works, how it works, show them people that have had success with this, and then get on a stage and do some amazing things for other people, right? This is the blessing, right? So Manny, I know you asked me something, and Jakob, I'll get to you as well. But you've been raising your hand this whole time. I see you, bro. I'm not like ignoring you. Manny, the question for you was, if I remember correctly, you asked me, is that, I know we have a couple of minutes, but what do you do when someone just goes to you? I would just follow up. I just follow up. I wouldn't run after that individual, but I would follow up. And what I would say every time I would follow up, either through text or through a voicemail, and I would do that, and I would call them too, by the way. And I would say, hey, listen, I just wanted to get back in contact with you, to see if you were able to make a decision. And I'm here to make your decision. And whatever the decision is, I'm fine with it. So if you can get back to me, let me know what the decision is, whether it's yes or no, it's totally cool. I'm totally fine with whatever decision it is. And you can do that through text, you can do this. And then I would do that, probably once. Well, in the first 10 days, I would follow up 5 or 6 times. Okay, at least 5 or 6 times. Because sometimes people need a little bit of in a little time, and they're like, and sometimes if you feel like you're a nuisance, don't. It's not up to you to decide that. Okay, you got to be unreasonable to win. And sometimes being unreasonable is what gets you to the win. It's people that are reasonable that get left behind, unfortunately. So, does that make sense? We can catch up a little more. Yaakov, I know you had a quick question, but we got to run because we got 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Go
yeah. Everything is good. Thank God. Quick question. What do you say to brand new people to help them keep up the momentum? Obviously, people come, people go, but the people that are coming in, especially brand new ones you're working with, whether they came in today, they're joining tomorrow, they're coming next week, whenever they're going to be around, or whenever they're joining, you want them to stay long term.
Yeah, great question.
You're not trying to go around and get people in and come and go. It's not the idea.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to sit down with that person and allow them to give you a time schedule that they're available to work the ACN business. Make the plan with them. Okay, don't say, can you work this business 30 minutes a day? Ask them, how much time can you dedicate to this business so we can work this together with you and have you have success here? Okay, because when you do that, you're not the person who is putting all of this into their mind. They're the ones that are making the schedule. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So and through that time, if they say, look, I'm only available 30 minutes a day, or I'm only available an hour a day, said, okay, great. What is the hour? When is that hour? Is it from 5 to 6? Is it from 3 to 2, 2 to 3, whatever it is, right? Then you find what that is and say, look, can we keep each other accountable to working together during those times? And once you have that commitment, say, are you ready to commit? And they're going to say yes. Are you sure? Yes. All right. So we're not going back. We're going to commit, and we're going to do this every single day with you for 30 minutes, for an hour, whatever it is. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do. And then you need to sit down and figure out with yourself or your upline, whoever you want to, what position do you want to get them to as quickly as possible? Then once you have that plan, that's where you work out with your prospect. Because if you give them real things. If you give them real expectations and make a road, give them homework, they'll do it. They'll do the homework. They just don't want to be in a place where they're not sure what their next step is. A lot of people get discouraged because they don't know what to do. Give them some guidance, give them a plan, write it down, and just be accountable to each other so they get out there and do those things. That fair enough?
Yes.